You're stuck. Stuck in a cycle of mindless scrolling, empty conversations, and the constant need to keep up with everyone else. You know it. I know it. You've heard about digital detoxes, deleting apps, taking a break, but those all feel like band-aid solutions to a much deeper problem. Well, what if I told you there's a way out? A way to break the cycle, hit reset, and start living for yourself. It's called ghost mode, and it's not just a trend, it's a strategy. It's about reclaiming your life by going dark, cutting out the bullshit, and finding out who you really are when nobody's looking. But what exactly is it? Ghost mode is simple. It's stepping away from all the noise, social media, endless notifications, mind-numbing content, just for a while. It's going silent. But not in a delete everything and disappear kind of way. Think of it as an experiment, a way to unplug from the digital madness and reconnect with yourself. You stop broadcasting your life, stop consuming everyone else's. You become a ghost, present but not involved, observing but not reacting. And suddenly you now have all this time and mental space. I mean, imagine waking up and not reaching for your phone first thing. Imagine actually having a whole day to think, to reflect, to breathe. Going ghost means you get to see your life without the filter of comparison, without the constant racket of opinions and updates. It's about giving yourself the time and headspace to figure out what you truly want, away from the looming pressure to conform, impress, or stay connected. But what happens when you actually do this? When you strip away all the distractions, something interesting happens. Your mind is no longer hijacked by the latest viral trend or someone's Instagram story. You're no longer reacting to every little thing, and you find yourself thinking clearer, deeper. You start to understand what's actually important and what's just filler. You realize how much energy you've been wasting on things that don't matter. And with all these distractions stripped away, you can zero in on what actually matters, your goals, your passions, your life. Suddenly, your mind isn't jumping from one thing to the next. It's locked in, fully present. It's like wiping a foggy mirror clean. You finally see what's there. Being constantly plugged in is screwing with your head. Anxiety, comparison, FOMO, it's all part of the game. Going ghost pulls you out of it. It's like a switch went off. You're now not worried about the next notification or what someone else is doing. You've got your own shit to handle. Going incognito forces you to focus on the real, not the virtual. You stop chasing likes and start looking for meaningful conversations, the ones that go beyond surface level. Relationships that add value, not just followers. I mean, when was the last time you spent a day without checking your phone? Can't remember, right? Ghost mode gives you that chance. By tapping into this strategy, you start to build emotional resilience, kind of like a buffer. You're no longer reacting to every little thing thrown your way. You're actually in control. But let's not romanticize it too much, because flying under the radar isn't a one-size-fits-all solution. There's a dark side to this game plan that nobody talks about. For those unfamiliar, ghost mode originated from Snapchat as a feature where people could hide their location and go off-grid. Now, with the concept being adopted into real life, it does draw similarities. But it isn't about disappearing off the face of the earth. It's not about cutting ties with everyone and living in total isolation. There's a fine line between taking time for yourself and removing yourself completely. Pull back too far and suddenly, you're not just off social media. You're actually off the grid, disconnected from the world. You wind up being left alone with your thoughts, and sometimes that's a dangerous place to be. Too much introspection can turn toxic. You get stuck in your head, overanalyzing every little thing. You lose touch with reality. You begin to see people as distractions, not connections. And that's really where things get dangerous. Going ghost can also lead you into a trap, the self-improvement spiral, if you will. It becomes a never-ending cycle of better, 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 until you don't even know what you're improving for. You end up chasing perfection, always seeking the next personal growth trend, without ever feeling good enough. And that's the paradox of ghost mode. Used wisely, it's a powerful reset. Used poorly, it's a rabbit hole you may never recover from. This isn't about running away from life, it's about stepping back so you can re-enter it with more intention. Don't turn it into a permanent state. You need balance. Go ghost, but don't vanish forever. So now, how do you find that sweet spot? How do you unfuck your life without losing yourself entirely? Before anything, know why you're doing this. Is it to find clarity, focus on a project, maybe disconnect from drama and chaos? Or are you just tired of the bullshit and want to step back? You'll want to get clear on that first because it's going to keep you grounded when the quiet starts to feel uncomfortable. And don't just disappear for weeks on end without a plan. Start small, maybe a weekend, a week tops. No social media, no unnecessary texting, no aimless scrolling. Just you and whatever you want to focus on. Don't just wing it either. Create some boundaries. Set some rules like no phone during meals, no digital distractions in the first hour after waking up. Leave your phone in another room and stop checking it every 5 minutes. Decide what ghost mode looks like for you and stick to it. Use this time to dive deep into something meaningful like reading a book, working on a personal project, or going for long walks. Do whatever pulls you closer to who you want to be and live in the moment. But don't cut off all ties. Let the people who matter know what you're up to. This isn't about ghosting everyone. It's about choosing where your energy goes. You still connect, but on your terms. When you're in this mode, the quality of your connections deepens. You're not spreading yourself thin. You're showing up fully for the few who truly matter. And now, as you go through it, check in with yourself regularly. How are you feeling? Are you finding clarity and focus, or are you slipping into isolation? Here's where you're just going to need to adjust. This should feel like a break, not a breakdown. When it's time to re-emerge, don't dive back into that digital cesspool all at once. Start slow. Prioritize the connections that matter and leave the rest behind. After you're back, take some time to reflect on the experience. What did you miss? What didn't you miss? Use all that knowledge you gained to shape your future. Ghost mode is your chance to unplug from the noise and reconnect with your life. It's about stepping back so you can step forward with more purpose. Think of it like a reset button in a world that rarely stops. But use it wisely because it's a tool, not a lifestyle. Use it to help you cut through the noise, focus on what really matters, and build a life that feels more authentic, more intentional, and more you. Because the truth is, life's too short to spend it lost in the noise. So, are you ready to go ghost?